And I started off with a quote that I carry with me pretty much through undergrad and also post grad as well. And it basically sums up my commitment to challenges and commitment to growth. And also, I added in why I chose public service. And basically, I'm a founder of a nonprofit organization. And so, over the course of my career and over the course of my time working with the public, I felt that furthering my education would be able to help me better service my community in a way that I never have before. And so I chose to go this route because all in all, I just want to help people, but I want to be able to help people effectively and efficiently. And so taking the MPA route was the best way for me to do that. Next, we have the About Me section. And this basically is a cohort of photos of my past service where I've pretty much traveled to a couple of different states and I volunteered with building homes for homeless or low income families, which was a great experience. And that also propelled me further into the public service um, field. Um, so basically, that's what this section pretty much details. It pretty much gives an overview of the places I volunteered and pretty much how I found the passion to do what I do currently. And here is my professional experience. I picked these three professional experiences because I feel like these three experiences were key in propelling me further into public service. And so we're going to start with the DBSA. The DBSA is a Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, where basically those who are dealing with depression and have bipolar disorders come together, and it's a peer-run support group. And my role was to facilitate some of the meetings and also create some of the presentations and provide the members with resources that can help them better navigate um, their problem or anything they had an issue with regarding mental health. And as a undergrad, I majored in psychology, and so that was a position I took right after undergrad, and so that was a great step to me towards where I am headed now. Next was the service learning coordinator. This was one of my favorites because I was able to reach a lot of people through this role as a service learning coordinator. And what I did was I coordinated basically volunteer opportunities for college students to be able to get course credit for volunteering in the community. And these were communities all across northern New Jersey. And so that was amazing to see, to be able to foster so many different community relationships in order to place students in these organizations. So that was a great experience for me. And not only that, I had the pleasure of coordinating the MLK Day of Service, where I was able to help over 300 students find a place to volunteer on that day. So that was an amazing outcome for that. And next was the Reconnect program. And the Reconnect program was a earlier position that I took in a Newark office where I was basically the administrative assistant where I filed and made copies and faxed things and stuff like that. But the office was in place to help people who needed rental assistance and those who needed help signing up for SNAP benefits and things like that. And so that was really, really the beginning. That was before I even graduated undergrad, and so that really made me feel like public administration was the route I wanted to go. Next, we have what we all came here for are the core competencies. I decided to go with communication first because I feel that that sets the foundation for pretty much how we'll be able to understand the rest of the competencies. And so I started with the administrative evil, and that pretty much and encloses the moral fibers of administration, and how sometimes wrongdoings can be overlooked due to everyone having specific roles in their departments. And so basically, people isn't that people are doing wrong all the time. It's sometimes that people aren't able to catch it fast enough in order to make a change. And so if you click here, it'll open up a PDF file that pretty much explains um, how a wrongdoing can be um, pretty much overlooked within the public sector due to it being so compartmentalized. And the next paper that I decided to incorporate is transparent governance. This basically touches on the introduction of technology into the public sector and how far we've come in including technology into how we communicate with the public, from government officials to other organizations and to the general public. And so if you click here, that'll also expand into a larger paper. Next, I decided to touch on leadership and management. And with that, I did include a bit of ethics with that, because developing a strong moral fiber is key. Being able to instill ethical values within an organization, and that is a leadership trait that is extremely important. Next, I incorporated an ethics audit. I specifically chose the YMCA to audit because after doing further research, I was able to find a good grounding to explain all the different steps of what having good information can do for an organization, and also the downside to not utilizing that information to instill um, ethical leadership within an organization. Next, we have the public policy process. With that, I decided to touch on healthcare and the DARE program. I decided to incorporate healthcare because that is something that is relatable to everyone. And so it'll be easier to digest and understand that the public policy process with the healthcare kind of needs some reconstruction. And so I detailed a paper that describes why the reconstruction of the Medicare program should be considered. Next, I decided to touch on the DARE program, which is a program that was supposed to deter young children from using drugs and alcohol, but due to policy failures, it wasn't effective, and it ended up wasting like a ton of money and things like that. So I decided to write a memo about that. And if you click here, it'll open up into a PDF where you can read further into that. And I think it is a great way to take a gaze into public policy. Next, we have analysis and critical thinking. I decided to choose a prison reform initiative and the Department of Education, which are on opposite ends of the spectrum, so to speak. And so that's why I included them both in this, because of the analysis and critical thinking that it would take to dissect prison reform, Department of Education. And the prison reform touches on prison overcrowding, and how even though that these people are in the system for supposed wrongdoings, that um, we should still think about how we can avoid overcrowded prisons, and basically think more about human perspective of prisons, and hopefully we can reform it. And so I use applied research and design courses for the sections. And with the Department of Education, again, I feel this would fit well with analysis and critical thinking because it is so broad. But I was able to break down the different components of the Department of Education and basically point out how the lack of accountability and transparency is failing our system currently. Last, the public service perspective, I decided to use a current program that's in Newark, New Jersey, which is my hometown. And so I thought that it was a great way to pick up on the public service perspective because it's happened currently and it's something positive to adding to the community positively, and it has a way of connecting the community to resources that usually goes unnoticed. And so I wrote a memo about a program in Newark, New Jersey that has decided to pay attention to the physical well-being of fellow Newarkers in regards to providing fresh fruits and vegetables, and also giving local farmers business and keeping everything flowing in a positive direction. I also included mental health into the public service perspective because I feel that is a component that kind of goes unnoticed. So I kind of decided to incorporate a paper that touched on criminal behavior and how environmental factors can affect the incarceration rates. And so I feel like that feeds into the public service perspective because every member of society plays a part and have a duty to serve. And so that's what I put into the public service perspective. At the bottom of each page is my email address, and including a clickable LinkedIn file that you can click and go directly to my LinkedIn page. Next is my current service. I am currently the founder of a nonprofit organization by the name of Catalyst Creation Incorporated. And so this is page basically is detailing the current work that I've been able to put together while in the MPA program. So it was pretty much implementing things that I've learned throughout the program as I went along in order to successfully run a holiday toy drive and a food donation drive. And also we do deliveries as well. So this is a clickable link to click to the external website so that you all can see more work that we do. And lastly is the contact. Um, you all can contact me, email me, and if you have any questions or concerns or you're interested in my organization or anything that I spoke about today. So this is my Capstone portfolio. Again, my name is Anisha Farmer, and it was a pleasure being a part of this program.